Okay guys, so today we're going to talk about adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. And so we talked about yesterday how we talked about when we have two fractions, when they don't have the same denominators, how we can create them with common denominators just by making equivalent fractions for each of them. Okay, so a couple things we're going to talk about is adding and subtracting, but also realizing when you're doing this with me, when you're pausing it, because you need to be pausing it to see if you can solve it first, is that you may be coming up with answers that I might not have. And we're going to talk about those what ifs, and you might have found a different denominator than me and how that might vary and things like that. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and turn in your workbook into page 220. Okay, so page 220. And we're going to work in our workbook today, work through it, practice, talk about it. And I do want you to have those kind of conversations. You don't have to talk out loud, but I just want you to have those conversations when I'm saying, did you do this? And I want you to answer in your head, yes, or why you chose this denominator, or was there a better option, okay? So let's look at the first one we've got, okay? Let's look at number 1. We've got 5/12 plus 1/3, okay? And we talked about how yesterday we can't compare these. I can't add 12ths and 3/3. It's just like adding those items together, like if this were to be into 12ths and this were to be into thirds. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? I can't add those. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to change them both, or maybe just one, so they're common. They have that in common. Again, that word common, they're the same. Okay? So I always ask myself, look at my smallest one. Can I make this 3 into a 12? Could I divide my thirds to equal 12? I can. So what my common denominator is going to be is 12ths. So I would leave this one the same because I don't. So what would I do to have to multiply? What did I do to get to 3 to 12? I multiplied it times 4. So that means I would go, so I would have 12ths in there as well. So then they're the same. So then I can combine them, okay? So whatever you do to your bottom, you must do to your top. 1 times 4 is 4, okay? Then I'm going to solve it. So now we're going to solve it. Yesterday we just made them this way without this, okay? Today we're going to now join them or take them apart. So 5 plus 4 is 9, and my 12ths stay the same because I'm simply taking 5/4 from here and 4/4 from here to make 9/12. Okay? So now my question is, going back to your worksheet, and that paper that you're asking, is my fraction simplified? Because in your instructions it says, write your answer in simplest form, and that's what it says. And so simplest form is the reduced or simplest or the smallest form. So both of these are not even, so they are not divisible by 2. So are they divisible by 3? Can 9 and 12 both be divisible by 3? Yes. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Is 3/4 a simplified answer? What are my 4 things? Numerator is a 1. Denominator is prime. Numerator and denominator are consecutive numbers. And the 4th rule is nothing can go in, or they do not share any other factors other than 1. So this is my 3rd rule, which is the consecutive. So 3/4 is consecutive. So 5/12 plus 1/3 is 3/4 with a simplified answer. Okay? All right, question number 2 on page 220. 2/5 plus 3/7. Okay, 2/5 plus 3/7. Okay, so again, this one is fifths. And this other one's sevenths. Okay? So, can I make fifths into sevenths or sevenths into fifths? Fifths, can I split them up, both of them, and have the same amount of spaces that this one does and this one does? So, again, I ask myself, can 5 make 7? Because that's my lowest. No, it can't. So then I look at my bigger number, my 7. So I have to think to myself, okay, 7 times 1 is 7. I'm going multiples is what I'm doing. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2, 14. Can 5 make 14? What's 7 times 3? 21. Can 5 make 21? No. 7 times 4? Can that be 28? Is 28 divisible by 5? No. Okay. And finally 5. Sorry. 5. Is 7 times 5 at 35? Is 35 divisible by 5? Sure it is. This one, it happens to be, look, I happen to multiply my denominators, and it worked that way. Okay? So 35. So that means I literally, and I don't have enough room, but I'm literally going to take my fifths, and what am I going to do to get to 35? I'm going to multiply that times 7. So each one of these, I'm going to do times 7 times. And then over here, I'm going to do this one, each of those sections, by 5, and they're both going to end up being 35ths. So whatever I did to the bottom, whatever I did to the bottom, I must do to the top. So 7 times 2 is 14. What did I go from 7 to 35? Multiplied times 5. So therefore, 3 times what is 5? So 3 times 5 is 15. Okay? Once again, whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. So 3 times 5 is 15, and then I'm going to add. All right, so now you're asking yourself, oh man, is this going to be reduced? Well, first number 1 rule. Is my numerator in 1? Second rule. Is my denominator prime? No, 35 is not prime because it's divisible by 5. The rest right there is the third factor. Is it divisible? My third rule is my factor, are they one away? Are they consecutive? No. And my fourth rule is they don't show any other factors other than 1. Well, this one's odd and this one's odd, so I can't divide them by 2. Is 29 divisible by 3? Or is this divisible by 3? No, this is only divisible. This is divisible by 5, 7. Is this divisible by any other number? Even the 7 has no rules. 7 times 4 is 28. So that cannot be divided by 7. So this is, in fact, the simplest form. Even though you have a large fraction, it is still in simplest form. Okay? Let's look at number 3. Okay, you've got 1/6 plus 3/4. Okay? Again, I ask myself, what can I make my 4 in? Can I make my 4 into a 6? No. So then I think right here, okay, right here. Can I do 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Can 4 make 12? Yes, it can. Oh, oops, sorry. Okay, so what did I do from 6 to 12? Times 2. Whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 3 got me 12. Therefore, 3 times 3 is 9. Is this a simplified? Yes, it is, because rule number 3, therefore it is consecutive. Now, had somebody in my class yesterday said, well, can't you just multiply the denominators? Absolutely. You totally could. Somebody said, well, could you do 24? Absolutely. So what would have happened if I would have chosen 24 as my common denominator? Again, that's totally fine. If you just want to go through and always multiply the denominators, that's fine. But I'm going to show you why it's not always the wisest choice. You can totally do it, not the wisest choice, though. So therefore, what did I do to get from 6 to 24? I multiplied it times 4. So therefore, 1 times 4 is going to be 4. Okay? What did I do from 4 to get to 24? Times 6. So then 3 times 6 is 18. Okay? So now I'm going to add. Okay? So, is this in simplest form? I could tell you why that's a no because you already know that's the simplest form. So not only that, what is another indicator of this not being in simplest form? Okay, because they're both still divisible. They're both still even. So self-check. If they're both still even, they're not in simplest form. So that means if they're both even, they can both evenly be divided by 2. I still get my answer, but when you pick a larger denominator, you're going to still have to simplify at the end. But if you happen to pick the smallest denominator possible that you can make it into, you're going to have to do very, very, very little dividing. Okay? All right, now let's move to subtraction. Okay, let's look at number 4. Same thing. 3/4 minus 1/8. Okay? Look at my smallest number. Can I make my smallest number into my biggest? Can I make a 4 and 8? Yes, I can. Good job. This one is going to stay the same. What did I do from 4 to 8? Times 2. Therefore, 3 times 2 is 6. Now, going back to what I was talking about before, could I have made this 32 and simply multiplied my denominators? Absolutely. Okay? So 4 times 8, that would have been 8 times 3, would have been 24. 8 times 4, and that would have given me 20 over 34. Okay? Up here, I could have done this, and this could be 5/8. Okay? I'm sorry, that's 32. Pardon me. Sorry, 32. Sorry, going a little ahead of myself. Okay? So, can this evenly be divided? No. This is not an even, so I can't divide it by 2. Can 5 be divided by 3? No. 5 be divided by 4? Nope. Can 5 be divided by 5? Mm-hmm. One time. 5 be divided by 6? 5 be divided by 7, 8, 9, 10? Nothing that they share, so therefore this is in simplest form. Now, again, could you have multiplied your denominators? Absolutely. But look at the difference of my fractions. First of all, I know this can be simplified because they're both even. Okay, so that's 10 over 16. Well, those are both still even, so that means they still could be divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Ah, there we go. So again, lower number, hardly any, or if any, simplifying. Higher number, more simplifying. This one, I feel like you're going to have larger margin of error. This one, you're going to have least margin of error. But if you just want to always multiply, that's fine. But again, showing you. Okay, I want you to do number 5 by yourself. I want you to do 1/4 minus 1/7. Press pause, and I want you to solve it yourself. Okay, here we go. What could have been your common denominator? 4 cannot make a 7, so I have to think 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. Now you can't make a 14. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4. Oh, look, this is one you end up just multiplying your denominators. That's times 7. 4. 4 minus 3 is that. Okay, so the question is, the only number that is evenly divisible by is 1 and 3. 1 and 3, because 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, so therefore my 3 rule, if it's only going to work, it's only going to work on my 3 rule. So it's 2 plus 8, 10. Is 10 divisible by 3? Then no. There's your final answer. Okay? All right, what I'd like for you to do now is I want you to stop and I want you to look at page 221. Okay? On 221, I want you to look at question number 15. Okay? You've got 9/10 minus a box is 1/5. Okay? 9/10 minus something is, again, using the word is for equal to, is 1/5. Now, I know that you're thinking, Miss White, I don't understand how to do this. I don't know. Okay, then put what you do know. So let's take a second, and over here, use the numbers 6, 4, and 2. Okay? So let's say this is 6 minus 4 is 2. Just use 3 different numbers, okay? Then now create it to make it look like this. 6 minus is 2. We know my answer is 4. Duh, we know that goes there. So what would I do with 6 and 2? I would subtract. So therefore, what are you going to do with these two numbers to get here? Subtract. So now my problem is 9/10 minus 1/5 is something. Well, do I have common denominators? No, I do not. So I can make them common denominators. So what is my common denominator? Can 5 make a 10? Yes, it can. Let's go ahead and make 10 as my common denominator. This is going to remain the same. What did I do from 5 to 10? Times 2. Whatever I do at the bottom, I must do at the top. Okay? So 9 minus 2 is 7. 10 tenths is still 10 tenths. So then you go, but Miss Sweat, that doesn't work. Okay? Let's see. What's 7 tenths? Let's try that again. 9/10 minus 7/10. 9/10 minus 7/10 is 2/10. So therefore, how did I get 2/10, but yet my answer is 1/5? How does that work? How does that work? Well, it is because your answer is not equivalent yet. They're both even. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Now it's the same thing. Okay? So let's take us to number 16 then. Please pause this if I'm going too fast. Question number 16. All right? Question number 16 is 5/12 plus blank equals a half. Okay? We don't know how to do that. I know that kind of looks weird. So then you simply do something you do know. Let's take again the 6, the 4, and the 2. So 4 plus 2 is 6. I don't know that number, so I'm going to 4 plus something equals 6. How would I solve for 2? If I had the numbers 6 and 4, how would I solve for 2? What would I do? I would subtract. 6 minus 4 equals 2. So we're going to subtract. All right. So I don't have common denominators, so I'm going to have to make a denominator. Common denominator. Can I make 2 into a 12? I sure can. What did I do from a 2 to 12? Multiplied it times 6, therefore I multiply this times 6. 1 times 6 is 6. 6/12 minus 5/12 is 1/12. But how is that, though? Well, let's see. If I were to really solve it, 5/12 plus 1/12 is 6/12. They're both even, therefore it must not be 3/6. Okay, they're both divisible by 3, 1/2. Or I could look and say 6/12 is equivalent to 1/2. So yes, therefore it is correct. Okay, what I'd like for you to do is you're going to turn to your gold pages. Your gold pages, you have quite a few problems on the gold pages. You have 16 problems. Okay, so please listen to what I'm going to tell you to do. If you're paying attention, you're going to know. Okay, you're going to do odd numbers. So you're going to do odd numbers. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, okay, on your first page, okay? Then you're going to do all 21 through 27, okay? So again, you're going to do the odd numbers, 1 through 19, then you're going to do 21 and 27, all of them. So the last two at the bottom, and then all the back. So if you want to circle all of them, that's fine. If you have any questions, come and talk to me. Please make sure that you check to see if it's in the simplest form. On 17 and 19 is exactly what we did back here. So just find you three numbers that make a sentence, do it correctly, then move over there, and then, okay, so if I were to have this, so 17 and 19, so the 7/12 minus blank equals 1/6, the 7/10 minus blank equals 2/5. So figure out what you would do on those, and then you're fine. Okay, questions, comments, concerns, please bring them to my desk unless I'm working with some students. But as of right now, you have the rest of the time to work on your goal pages. You're doing 1 through 19, those odd numbers, 21 through 27. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 16, 18. So you have 18 total problems. Not a problem. Now, I'm going to say this. You're going to need to use a notebook paper. There is not enough room on this goal page for you to write and you to find the common denominator and you to simplify. There's just not. I don't want it. That's too much trash on there. Okay, I cannot read your writing. So please make sure that your answers are in the box, but your work is on notebook paper. But please keep your notebook paper just in case I need to go back and look. All right, go for it.